live in Southern California, you know by now that the LA County Fair is going cashless. Yay! Awesome, right? And Lord knows that's a welcome change, right? It's been we have way too much boob money and sock money, and Lord knows where else it's been hidden money floating around for my liking. And while that's good, a cashless world is a really good idea. There are a lot of pluses to that, but there are also a number of minuses. And it's not like we're not moving that way. It's not like the country isn't heading that, the world isn't heading that way fast. I mean, how many times have you used cash lately? How many times do you use your debit card or credit card over using cash? So it begs the question, what if in a world where there's no cash, you can only afford cash? Let's get into it after this. There's a lot of questions here. There's a lot of things to get into. There's a lot of subtlety and nuances, as usual, and lots to unpack. So let's get into it after the opener. All right, welcome back. I'm E.H. Howard. And this is the Small Business Show, and welcome. Glad to have you with us. If this is your first time, welcome aboard. More than happy to have you join us. If this is your return visit, I am so happy that you're here. Thank you so much for supporting me on this channel. Before we get into too much of a detail, I just kind of want to, when I say small business, I say this every episode, I'm talking about small mom and pop places. No more than maybe 10 or 15 employees, at most, probably one location, but specifically really talking about those, home businesses, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, consultants, contractors, people that don't really have anybody to help them. They don't really, you're busy kind of making it just from the start of the day to the end of the day. That's what this is all about, helping you get to the end of the day. So when I say small business, we all kind of know what I'm talking about now. It's kind of that, not the bigger, smaller businesses that most people talk about when they say small business. I'm thinking very small, microcosm. All right, so to recap, the LA County Fair is going cashless, and like most things, it's a good thing for some, but it's not a great thing for other things, all right? And there's multiple sides to this. Actually, there's three sides. There's three sides to this, as usual. We have consumers, we have small businesses, and we're talking, even just in general, larger small businesses and big business, all right? And the issues with all of this are interconnected, all right? Back in the 80s when I first started working, and I remember CD players came out. And I was working with a guy, and he was adamant. He was one of those people like, I am not going to buy a CD player. I'm not going to buy any technology. I think he was adamant about not buying a Laserdisc, but that probably was a good choice. But he did it with a stipulation. He wanted to know that there was a promise that they weren't going to invent something better next month. All right. There was always some new technology coming down the road. There was some new thing that was going to happen. And I can't say he wasn't wrong. If you are old enough like myself to remember the early 2000s when, phones kept coming out and computers kept updating, and it's like you'd buy a new computer or a phone, and then next week they would announce a brand new phone or a brand new computer that did all the things that you wanted, but you couldn't wait because your phone or computer was on the brink of breaking down. So we've all said it. We've all been there. We all kind of understand where he's coming from, right? Any new technology that comes with it, crypto, cashless, computers, phones, you name it, there is a fear of the unknown. People get really freaked out about new stuff. They don't like new technology. They don't like change. I don't want to paint with a broad brush here. There are a lot. I embrace change. I love change. I think it's a great thing. I'm not afraid of technology. I'm a little wary. I wouldn't necessarily buy the first, the beta, but hey, we all have our thing. Every time a new technology has come out, it has been like, oh, it's the end of this, it's the end of that. So TV was supposed to kill movies, and streaming was supposed to kill movies. And, I can't think of other ones. But there's 1,000,001 of them that are coming out. The internet was supposed to kill social dialogue. Well, that one's kind of true. That kind of did happen. But the thought of a cashless world, a thought of a world where it is only debit cards, Apple Pay, Google Pay, that can be really frightening to some people. And I'm pretty much talking about a demographic 30 and older, 40 and older. That's coming at this from an emotional state, all right? And let's look at the facts here. And there's a couple. Under the pros, we have quick and easier access to your funds, better and greater variety of reports and tracking data, less direct contact with consumers, and less transactions that are cash-based so that you're not getting gross money. The cons, the downsides to all this are, as usual, potentially more fees, more work, and you're cutting off a portion of your purchasing community. But let's dig a little deeper, okay? That's just surface. Let's get into the facts and the details about things. Let's first look at the pros. It would be really nice to get your funds in 24 hours or less, right? Like most small businesses are running tight. If you're like me, there were months where you would write a check and hope that somebody paid their bill so that there was money in the bank when that check hit. So there's that option. The other option is that you get some really great reports. You get some tracking data. You can understand better your business operations, where your money's coming in. There's less error because we've removed the human factor from it. It's all digital. There's some great things as far as having, a cashless world in those sorts of things. All right. There is no more boob or sock money, or wherever the hell they're going to pull it out from, right? And that's a great thing, because if you're in line behind somebody and they pay with boob money, now you potentially could get that sweaty boob money back, and I don't want that. Do you want that? I don't think anybody wants that. All right. More importantly, let's look at the cons. And this is where it really kind of comes down to the brass tacks, so to speak. The downside is that there are going to be more fees already on top of the fees that small businesses are paying, all right? You as a small business are running on a very tight budget, all right? I would not be surprised if it is a constant robbing Peter to pay Paul situation, because you are billing, you're waiting for people to pay, but you have to buy more stuff. It's a serious dance between you and debt, all right? You also get a lot more reports, but that means you've got to read the reports, you got to process the reports, you got to learn how to pull the reports. You really need to understand what that data means and how to apply that to your business. So that's going to take more time for you. There's going to be a learning curve. It can get really frustrating and aggravating, and you can start to ask yourself, well, why am I doing this? I don't really understand. That's a different situation. That is definitely a fear-based situation. Bigger thing is there is less opportunity for consumers. All right. Now, I have been in a number of retail locations over the past couple of months, and people freak out. I have heard people literally ask the cashier or the business owner, "Do you still accept cash? Can you take cash?" So there's this mindset already coming in that we are going to head towards a cashless world, and a large group of people are going to be left behind. There's a group of people, most people who cannot, cash is their only option, all right? They can't get a debit prepaid bank card. They can't get credit cards. They can't get a bank account, whatever reason, all right? And we have all at some point been in that situation where it's like, I've only got cash. For me, it's one where I didn't want to get into debt with credit cards. So I have two credit cards. That's it, with very, very low minimums, because I don't want that debt piling up on top of me. I don't want to have to pay those fees on top of everything else I have to pay every month. So for me, I just wanted to kind of streamline things. If I can't afford it in cash, I'm not going to buy it. That was my sort of philosophy. Now, there are people that are going to say, well, you could buy a prepaid credit card, and then you got the money there, you just go into the grocery store, you pay for it, boom. Sure, they could do that. That's an option. However, there's an activation fee, right? There's always a fee. There's always a fucking fee. So there's an activation fee starting at minimum of $5. And depending on where you purchase the card and what, it could go even higher. So we're still penalizing the people who can't afford to move to a digital cashless environment when it's not even like, yeah, we can help you move there, we can help you be part of this digital, but we're going to charge you for that. And I'm not trying to say that making money and profits isn't a good thing. I'm not trying to say that at all. I'm just saying is we need to be aware of a broader consumer base and not a very focused and specific consumer base. A lot of people focus on the people who have credit, have cash, that they can do those things. But there are a group of people that are cash only that have a lot of money to spend. They have a huge amount of money to spend. And they are an audience that wants to spend it if they have a place to spend it. Now, the only person winning in all of this, the only group of people who are sitting high on the hog and racking in the profits is big business, because the house always wins. The house always wins. They are never going to take a loss. They are always going to pile it on top of the people, the consumers who can't afford it. They're going to pile it on top of the small businesses who can't afford it, the home businesses, the solopreneurs, in order to make more profits. They say that they're small business focused. They say they're consumer focused, but they are small business, consumer focused for a very specific business and consumer. All right. And if you know me, that's not a bad thing. That's how you should run your business. But don't tell me that you're also small business focused when you're going to add more fees and services on top of all of the fees and services that we're paying. All right. Now, that can kind of leave people feeling like, well, what the fuck? I might as well just hang it all up and move on. What's the point of, making it? I should just close my doors right now. Now, there are some solutions. The downside to this is, whether it's today, whether it's tomorrow, next year, 5 years from now, it is inevitable. We are going to have a cashless world. That's the way it's going to happen. It's not fear-mongering to say that. It's not fear-inducing. It should be something that people embrace. Now, however, conversely, cash isn't going anywhere. Unlike personal checks, cash isn't going anywhere. When was the last time you saw somebody write a check at the grocery store? I think it happened like a month ago. And my husband and I were like, what the fuck? Who writes a check? It was the 15 minutes. There has been cash since the dawn of time. All right. There has always been cash. There will always be some form of cash. Now, is it going to be accepted everywhere like Discover Card? Probably not. It's going to probably be accepted at less and less places. However, that's the point I'm making. All right. As a small business, this is an opportunity for you. All right. You can't afford to play the big business game. All right. You can't afford all of these fees and things. So you got to pick one game to play, and you're going to play it hard. So for me, I use Square. All right. I lean into Square heavily. I use it for a lot of things. And I'm not saying that I won't pay those fees. I'm okay with paying 2%, 3% to Square. It's when I pay 2%, 3% to you, and I pay 2, 3% for there's a lot of wheels here going on. For me, I'm okay with accepting cash. I mean, I don't have a business where I would normally accept cash, but if I did, my husband runs a small farmers market business, and they take cash. That was the easiest way for them. Now, I'm not saying people are going to be like, well, if you take cash, there's taxes. Yes, I get that, but there is a huge demographic of business consumers who want to spend cash. So lean into that. Pick one of the transactional services that you want to use and stick with it, but really embrace the shopper who wants to spend cash if you can. I mean, I know if you're running a consulting business, or if you're running a bookkeeping business or something like that, taking cash can be a little harder. But if you're running a products-based business, cash can really change the way and open you up to new avenues of consumers that weren't there before. I mean, if you're a person who can only afford cash and you suddenly discover a business that's cash only or heavily cash based, you're going to shop there, right? You're going to use that business. So lean into that. And like I said, it's not going to go away. It's not going to die. You know, nothing ever dies, right? Cash is going to be around. It just might not be in fashion for a while. And that's okay. All right, I want to thank you for joining me today. This has been the Small Business Show, and we've been talking about a cashless world. If you want to learn the skills on how to sell and market yourself better, how to connect with those consumers more effectively who want to spend cash with you, pop on over to Patreon and join me there, because that's where we're going to learn to sell and market like a pro, rediscover the love that you had for your business, how to develop and foster more word of mouth marketing, and how to improve your networking skills. It's all about making a better tomorrow for you today and teaching you the skills on how to do it. To learn more about me, visit ehhoward.com 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We never ever close. We're always there. There's a ton of great things for you to explore while you're there. There's a resource library. There's other shows and channels that I have, other information. You can learn about the new American dream, sell the experience, find your Betty, and what those can mean to you and your business. And while you're there, join our mailing list. We'd love to have you. We're doing a whole bunch of upcoming great things that I'd like you all to be a part of. Follow me on social media. I'm literally E.H. Howard everywhere. And while you're here at YouTube, check out my other videos. Like and subscribe below. That would mean a ton for me. I would love to have that happen. I get very excited every time I have a new subscriber or a new view. So make my day. And once again, I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for being part of the community. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. All right, have a great day. Go spend some cash.